What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sky Lounge. We've been gone for a while, but we are back again, finally here. Listen, it's season 2, and we had to kick it off strong. As you know, the Sky Lounge is a space for great conversations with amazing people, where we talk to people who are owning it and honing their industry. We like to define ourselves as a community of lifelong learners. We love to have conversations around leadership, business, life, communication, all those things through the perspective of the Jamaican. I'm super excited to kick off season 2 with this amazing guest. Listen, he goes by the name Chris Malachi. He's a songwriter and singer in Jamaica. He's an amazing guy, and I'm just super excited to lean into a conversation with him today. You may know him for hits such as The Graveyard Shift, hits such as Army of the Light, or my personal favorite, Smooth Sailing. I'm super excited to unpack, tap into, pick his brain just today to have a great conversation, just hearing about his journey being an artist in Jamaica. And I'm super excited because I know there's something we can all learn from this episode. I encourage you guys, lean all the way in, share this link with a friend. It's gonna be one for the books. Make some noise, everybody, from wherever you are streaming this right now. Make some noise for the one, the only, Chris Malachi. Let's go. Yeah, Chris Malachi. Welcome, my bro.
Timmy Sky and Chris Malachi.
Oh gosh, the man started already. Singer slash songwriter. Oh man, bro, this is a dream come true, bro. I love it. How you doing, man?
I'm great. Glad to be here in the space, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Chris and I go way back. We've known each other since we were kids, and I'm just super excited that, we can almost reflect on that journey from where we started to where we are now. We're just catching up off the camera a while ago. And I mean, it's just been amazing, bro. As you open your eyes, close your eyes, the time flies, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. I'm 31 this year. How old are you now, bro?
31.
Let's go.
Can tell them the story?
Yeah, tell them, bro. Tell
So
them.
me and Timmy, we grew up like a minute away from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I call it twin families.
Facts.
Because our parents got married, like 3 weeks apart. We're basically the same age.
Yep.
Rach is the same age.
Yep.
It's a lot of similarities with our family.
Yeah, man.
So
both church kids.
both church kids, yeah,
man.
all of that. So
yeah, man.
we have a similar
bro.
foundation in many ways.
Yeah. So and it's I love that you started there, bro, because we grew up together. But the whole time we grew up together, bro, I had no idea, absolutely no idea that you were a singer, that you liked singing. I had no idea that Chris was a creative like that, bro. So talk to me. Before we even tap into you being a singer per se, I'm just curious, when did you become Chris Malachi? Or rather, before we even get to when you became Chris Malachi, who is Chris? Tell us about yourself, bro.
Yeah. So it's funny you say you never know. So I was a singer. Back then I never know I was a singer either.
That's crazy.
Because Christopher Morris is somebody who really and truly, I'm very reserved, bro.
Yeah.
Very, very reserved. But thoughtful. Like I always have something on my mind. I'm that type of person who will sit in a conversation in a circle of people, and most of the times I'm listening.
You're not going to talk at all.
Not necessarily not talk at all, but I don't really feel the need to always try and be the center of attention.
Okay.
When that time comes, when it's stage time, then cool. But apart from that, I was really chill. I grew up, so like my thing with music now is straight from the family. Pretty much every older person I knew around me was a musician in some sense. So starting from my father is, I was going to say was a choir director, but he still is.
Really?
Yeah. And my uncles, same thing as well. Choir directors, keyboardists, singers. So for me, being a child and music was, even before me even realized, okay, I love music, that was just a family thing. You want to be around your older cousins and thing, you have like hang around the drum, or my first keyboard I got was from my older cousin. He
Wow.
gave me his old keyboard. So music was always a part of me like that. But as I say, I didn't grow up singing. I grew up playing the keyboard.
Wow.
That was my introduction to
Really?
music. Yeah, man. Yo, I actually started young, like I don't remember, probably like I was like 6 or so.
Wow. Playing keys.
Yeah. So there was a thing where since my parents kind of realized that coming home from church, I could kind of learn the songs. Like I could remember some of the songs that were sung in church, or if you teach me something, I could just kind of figure it out. And that's when like they eventually put me in like piano classes and stuff like that. Big up Dennis Rushton.
You went to Dennis Rushton?
Yeah.
The one and only Dennis. The
Yeah,
smashing
man.
pianist.
Smashing pianist, yeah, my
That's dope.
first
Yeah?
piano teacher.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I went to Dennis Rushton as well.
See again.
Yeah, man, see that.
But yeah, I mean, from then now, it's funny. It was always a love-hate relationship with me, though,
Really?
because at first, I don't think I fully recognized it as something that I loved.
Yeah.
It was just more something that I could do.
Okay.
So, man, I enjoyed it, but I don't think at that young age I could really fully understand the discipline of practicing all the time and thing. But my daddy, yeah, if one thing that man is so persistent, him always encouraged me, Chris, if you continue playing. For my entire life, he never stopped.
Really?
Trust me. I'll sometime when me stop, keyboard gone.
Yeah.
Chris, you have to take up at the playing,
Jeez.
Like, it's like him did always know, so like, yo, you see that?
Yeah.
Don't give up that.
Wow.
Which, I don't know if your parents ever said this when them say, yo, years from now, we're going to look back and say thank you.
Yeah. Is this the moment we're gonna take? And say, Daddy.
I say live on air, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daddy, for all of the encouragement and the persistence. It really means a lot. I find myself in a lot of those moments sometimes when, like, wow, them really, stayed on certain things, and it really paid off. And yeah, I mean, continue a little bit more now. Mm-hmm. When I got to high school.
What high school you went to?
Wilmers.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Big up, I get caught a geese. Yeah, I went to Wilmers Prep, so yeah.
Yeah,
with you.
I mean, not everybody can have that joy in life to be a Wilmerian, but we work with them same way.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Right.
That's when I started to recognize myself as a creative.
Okay, at Wilmers. I would have never guessed anyone would say that. You went to Wilmers and that's where you realize, yo, I'm a creative.
Trust me.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you go to Wilmers and you say, oh, I'm an athlete. Oh, I'm a baller. But you say creative. Not bad. All right.
That's when I started to understand myself as such a little bit, and
okay,
I can show you how. So before Wilmers, my thing was always like composition writing, like English. I could always do that. But of course, them time they just had a school. When I got to high school now, when I started to understand literature, my third form literature teacher, Mr. Alexander, he gave us an exercise to say, yo, just write a poem about anything.
Okay.
And them time, I think I did like one girl but she never did like me about them way them. And we use that as
been there.
we use that as my outlet to really write a poem about it. There was some big metaphor about.
You took it on, bro. You took on the assignment.
Really and truly. And from then, that's when I started to understand creativity as an outlet for those personal emotions.
Yeah.
But even back then, I wasn't singing. I was still just writing and like playing the keyboard here and there and thing. But I always had friends who was artists and things. So like Casey Jameson, Matty Hyatt. You know Matty Hyatt is a lawyer now.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we had him in a high school together, like all the way. And like I was either just like me help write or the person who make the beat.
Oh
I was
wow.
never the singer.
That's the
I was
the irony in that.
I was never the
The
singer. Cause I
irony
was so
in that.
shy, bro. Like
Jeez.
I was so shy
Yeah.
until fifth form.
Okay, what happened in fifth form?
There was like a pageant, like a Mr. and Mrs. Woolman's thing.
Yeah.
And I remember I go to Casey and at this time now Casey a singer in high school, you know.
Yeah.
And like me say, bro, I want to join, you know, but I'm shy, I'm nervous, I'm afraid. And I say, bro, just come in, bro. All the way I go join. And then we join.
Yeah. So you entered the
I
competition.
entered the competition.
Okay.
And even with the audition and thing, I walking around the whole school with my keyboard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then I sit down for audition now and I go so for sing and no voice, can't sing.
Stop it.
Nervous, numb, left my
Are you-
voice, whatever this is. Can't sing, nothing now
You
work.
see that, bro? Do you
No.
remember what song you were trying to sing?
I remember everything, but it just was not passing my lips.
Oh.
So till now, the judge now, who the judge, Miss
That's
Roper,
crazy.
Rasheen, she said, you know what? Make him go through, say me. Cause I feel like him have something. This is because she's like, yo, there's no way this youth walking around the whole school with him keyboard for the entire day. If I go bathroom, I walk with it. If I go
Oh
over
my
so.
gosh.
She say, him go through too much. Make him just
So they make you go through.
Let me go through without
Even though,
the
no,
audition.
that's-
But here's the
Wow.
thing now.
Wow.
When I sang the song on the night of the competition, I actually won Best Talent.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I actually won
That's
Best Talent.
crazy, bro.
I sang Pretty Wings. Maxwell, if I can't have you, let
Wow.
love set you free
Wow.
to fire.
Wow. And the words came.
The words came. No fifth farmer really need to be singing that song because it's such a mature love song.
Yeah.
But yo, the same heartbreak business.
Gee. Oh my gosh.
I think it was the same girl.
The same girl from the poem.
From the poem.
Oh my gosh. Oh
but
my
at this point, it
gosh.
was like me accepting that, okay, this not going to work
Oh
out.
gosh.
How would I really want to. But
Yeah.
you know, I still think you're amazing. And let love set you free.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy, bro.
Going from there now, so like I said, I won Best Talent.
That's crazy. Congrats.
And thanks. And that was when the school find out, say, oh, Chris can sing. This shy boy who nobody didn't really know him because I'm so, nervous all the time. That's when I started to sing a little bit more. Then I call it like a straight line, right?
Okay.
Because after high school, going into university. So remember I tell you about the judge who let me through?
Yeah.
So she was a teacher, Rasheen Roper, or Robinson now. When I got to UA, there was this performing arts group that I kind of just saw them rehearsing and I wanted to join. And like I had some workshop or something like that I joined and I kind of just kept going.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a summer camp thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to keep going, but they had like an open day and like I just kept going.
Wow.
Quilt. Till eventually I was like, yo, Chris is still here.
You were that guy.
I guess we just let him keep coming. Rasheen was in that group.
That's crazy.
Yeah, she was one of the senior members of the group, so she knew me from
Yeah, of
high
course.
school.
She remembers you from no voice to no.
From no voice to no, and then I remember calling her Miss Roper, and she's like, Chris, we're not in school anymore. Please stop calling me that. But being in that space was at Quilt was the first time I learned that art and creativity comes with a level of research as well,
Research.
Yeah, if
What,
we
what do you mean by that now?
so if we were doing a play, let's say we're doing a play about something about the Rasta community, somebody would probably be like, see how they can visit a bingy meeting somewhere or talk to some Rastas somewhere to like understand the real history of what they're doing, you know, and they really approach things in that way. There is a whole lot of historical references to things that we're doing, a whole lot of books mentioned, a whole lot
wow.
of really getting into
Yeah,
things
due
in a deep
diligence
level
was
because
done.
due diligence was really done, and that really helped to inform my process. Because if you check my music now, a lot of the times like there's a reference to another song or like a pointing out something here or like I
Wow.
really, even the way that I write, I'm very very precise with the things that I say because I understand that importance of due diligence. It really makes the difference, I
Wow.
believe, because you're doing something that when you record a song, bro, it lasts forever.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that each time you're doing something as impactful as you possibly can.
Wow.
You know? And being in Quilt too was also the first space I ever entered where they really affirmed this idea of just having big dreams.
Okay.
Like, in a way that it was really life-changing. Like, you could literally say, hey guys, so my dream is to be the first Jamaican on the moon. And like, that sounds outrageous, but nobody is laughing at that. It was okay, let's make a plan. How we're going to get there?
Wow.
No, that's just anything we want to do, how we're going to do it.
Jeez.
And
I love that.
trust me, to be in that space now and like, when I tell them, say, yo, I want to be an artist, I'm say, all right, how we are going to do it? Remember, this is me coming from little shy guy who want to sing, not sure if I can, but I'm so deathly nervous. Writing for years and nobody know. To come into a space to, okay, yeah, man, we're going to do it. We can do it. Cool. Let's go.
Wow.
You know, and that really, you see the thing about dreaming, I believe you can be trained to dream.
Okay.
You know, like sometimes we can only go as far as we see, and sometimes we can only go as far as we're affirmed to.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate, but sometimes if you don't have somebody to say, yeah, man, you could have probably do that for true. You know, really try to make the effort. But being in a space like that changed that whole thing for me. To the point where, being in that room, I go England, you know?
Jeez.
Yeah, man.
Really?
Trust me, there was a thing called Contact in the World. It was a performing arts festival where a lot of different countries come together, and we wanted to go to represent Jamaica. And I remember the director of the group, Ryan McLean, he would say, guys, if you go to England, just know that it's going to change your life. Like him said, it really will. And when we got there, we did so much to get there. Yo, bro, there was a time when we even did like a flash mob at Digicel downtown to ask for money. To like a donation to go down. And like we stand up outside the Digicel building in the field and thing, and they look down and see us and thing, and they sponsored one ticket just based on that presentation.
Wow.
We did a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
And again, that's also learning how to walk by faith in that situation like that, because up until like the week before, we never have all of the money.
Jeez.
And then we made it. And then when I got there, I understood the whole thing about being life-changing, because that was my first time outside of Jamaica seeing how people respond to Jamaican culture.
Really?
Yeah. And when I tell you, that is not something you can describe to somebody.
Like,
Like,
I've experienced it.
all right, let me give you an example. We're warming up in the morning, right? Early morning. Like, we just go out in the square at our dorms. And by the time we're done warm up, we're woo! And people in the house them around and thing like the other members and thing, they were like, wow, that's so amazing. You know, then we had a workshop.
Yeah.
right? A Jamaican dancing workshop.
Okay.
And we started our workshop with like a small group of people. Then people start hearing about our workshop from the other places and other countries. And a lot of people was like sneaking out of their workshop
Come in.
to come to the Jamaican workshop. When we check it
Amazing.
now, the whole room full of people.
That's wild.
You know? And then now finally did the play that we went up there to do. And people were amazed. They was like, guys, you guys could take this to West End. That's basically like Broadway in UK. And it was like
amazing,
life changing. I never say anything like that. And that was that example for me at that age to really make sure that we really love and appreciate Jamaican culture for what it is, because we have something really powerful.
Yes, sir.
And then coming back to Jamaica is when we really start to see things in that way. So like at this time now, I had already done my first performance as Chris Malachi.
Really?
I believe. Yeah, it was actually at a quilt show. So that same group I was in, after one of those shows, they was like, all right, you want to perform?
This is your space.
This is the space. But coming back to Jamaica after that experience was when I started to be a lot more deliberate about what I want to do in Jamaican culture. I had no real understanding back then, but I knew that it's like, you know how them say like, when it comes to like love is a decision, it's an active decision.
It's a choice.
I remember making an active decision and choice to love Jamaican culture.
Wow.
And like to really understand it and really do that research.
That's it up, bro.
I remember that.
That's it up.
And years later, just trying a little thing. It eventually worked out till I met JLL.
Okay.
JLL in 2015. That was no.
Who is JLL for those who don't know?
All right, so JLL is one of a good bridging them. Is a producer.
Okay.
You know,
top producer too.
Top producer. Work with a lot of people. Just research him. It's out there.
Big producer.
Big producer.
So how you met him?
So at around this time now, me start like coming back to Jamaica. This is when I start to tell people, so like, yo guys, I really want to do this artist thing. Man, this is something that I've had in my heart for so long, but never really tell people. Now me start to tell people, say yo. And then one of my friends, was like, yo, I stumbled on this guy on SoundCloud, him named JLL. You can check his stuff out. He's like really good, And I check it out and I love this work. So I reached out to him. I was like, hey, bro, I'm Chris Malachi. I'm an artist and I'm looking for a producer. And
so, but you don't know him from, how you reach out to him?
I just, he had his, Twitter page and his SoundCloud. And me message him and say, hey, let's talk.
Let's go.
And
he responded?
He responded.
That's wild.
And yeah, I'd tell him, say, yo, I would love to work with you. I can't tell you how what I did to my little proposal and thing. I saw one of his rhythms. It was called Sensi Rhythm at the time. And we decided to say, okay, I want to write a song to this. So, and present to him and say, yo, we can work. Them time, of course, I have no mic or nothing like that.
Oh, man.
So what I had to do, I had the rhythm playing on one device, like a tablet.
Yeah.
Then I have my phone.
Oh my gosh.
And then we just put it together and then start singing.
Wow.
And so it was like a terrible quality thing.
Yeah.
I would send it to him and say, yo, this is me write that song. Yeah. And then say, yo, bro, I love this, but I don't have a mic. Me, my things that this youth are go around me because as far as I'm thinking, producer,
must have mic.
If you have mic, if you have studio, you're a producer.
Yeah.
You say, bro, don't have no mic, We say, all right, cool. Him link me back 4 months later.
Wow.
Out of the blue, I was like, yo, bro, I got a mic. Link up.
Got a mic.
Got a mic, link up. So at this time now, I had a lot of songs writing just without any just
in the
ideas
arsenal.
and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, that song that I sent to him that eventually became a song called Delight on my first project. Yeah, The Messenger, that was fully produced by him.
Wow.
Yeah. So we did link up and I was like, bro, I have these songs. Let's work. And we'll say, yo, so this is my first project, first time recording songs. This is his first time recording a full project. And we did everything mostly from scratch. Would I say, oh, you know, this probably gonna take like 4 months and stuff like that. 4 months turned to 4 years.
4 years. 4 years.
4 years, because you know what it was? It was a whole lot of trial and error, like really learn a lot of things from scratch. At
Wow.
times when we think so we'll finish and project ready, we'll send the mix to somebody and I'm saying, no, this not ready. Like, you need to put more stuff in the production. You need to take out this. You need to replace this. And then at some point, you know, we realize, say, yo, we can get some live instruments in things, you know. And me a workplace. I remember, like,
You're working at the time?
yeah, because this is after
So
university.
you're,
you know,
okay,
you know.
so you're no longer in UA.
No longer anyway.
Jeez,
This
you
is-
have a 9 to 5
I
job.
have a 9 to 5 job.
Are you allowed to share where you were working at the time?
So different places.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
okay.
Call center.
Okay, all
Guardian
over.
Life.
So
like-
this is you working and then you working off the clock, putting in the work
Exactly.
on the microphone.
Exactly.
Wow.
I remember it was that thing where, like, let's say in September now, we decide, so yo, them song I could have used some hands, you know. Me have to wait till December till me get my work bonus.
Jeez.
And then link some people. I link Dean Fraser.
Jeez.
And I spend like half of my bonus fund that
Oh
day
my
there for
gosh.
getting play hands on like 3 songs.
Wow.
So it was stuff
wow.
like that, and that's why it took so long, because we had to do things, then
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, you're finding the money. You're
finding the money,
yeah.
finding just and the know how to.
Of course.
You know.
Take time.
Yeah, and then it reached 2019 on my fast track.
Oh my gosh.
Right before we were like getting ready to like submit the final project. At this point, Jean got a new, I say Jean,
Yeah,
JLL,
JLL. Yeah.
got a new interface.
Okay.
And was making a little edits and stuff, and him say, yo, bro, fix that line here. Then him say, yo, hold on. This line sound much better than the rest of the song. Because it's a new interface, like upgrade.
Oh my gosh.
So now, for
Start over.
voice over the whole song. So till now, when we voice over that song, you know, it's like, but that song I can't see, like voice over the entire project. The 4 years I work on this, you know, bro. And the week before we submit,
This is great. You did over everything.
We'll voice over the entire lead, like my vocals, the entire project.
That's
from
wild.
the whole song, the whole
Jeez.
album.
How many songs is this?
7.
Wow.
So, yeah. But you know what? Them things they teach patience, they teach
Yes, sir.
determination. And that's the thing about music, you know.
Yeah.
It's more than... It's really a game of patience and persistence. That's really what it is.
Patience and persistence. I love that.
And that was my entry to the whole thing, to learn to be patient. Because someone would I think 4 months.
Man, it's 4 months.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
4 years.
Wow.
4 years.
Wow.
And
7 songs.
7 songs.
4 years.
7 songs. A
I
lot
don't
of
want to ask you how
starting.
much money.
I mean, it could have been more, because at this time now, still I ask friends for favors,
Of course.
and still I build up network and things like that. So, but it was definitely funded off just like work paychecks
Of
and
course.
bonuses and any little money we could have find and things.
Jeez.
And them times there, golden. And what it did, it really developed a solid friendship with me and Jalen.
Okay.
Yeah, so like we're still very good friends up to this day. And
Yeah.
he's been very closely aligned to my process for the whole time. He's one of them people who understand really who Chris Malachi is.
Yeah.
And sometimes that means holding me accountable sometimes. He's a guy who would come to me and say, yo, you sure you won't if you do this? You can do better than this, you know. A lot of the songs that even might not have his credits on it, I probably recorded it at his studio.
Really?
Or sent him like some of the first drafts and stuff like that. So like Chris Malachi and JLL is like a duo that is always there, even when you don't really see it. You know,
Amazing. Amazing.
and throughout the journey, I've been meeting so many other great producers. So like
Jeez.
Kristan, who is Kristan does some great things right now. I'm proud of him. And Kenny them over Tuesday service and thing. Another Coastal Kings. That's the name they go by. And Dub Squad. Another amazing set of musicians who always challenge me in my journey as well. Always show me say, yo, Chris, you can do this better. You can do this. Start your band. So music too is also a thing of this great community. And us challenging each other and things. So it's a profession and it always feels more than just a profession. It feels so much like a calling, and I'm
Yes,
really,
sir.
really glad to be here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So this year makes how many years that you've been doing this thing?
It's hard. Like, all right.
As Chris Malachi. If we can count it from there.
All right, so I released my first single in 2019. A song called
2019.
All I've Got.
Okay. That was before the 4-year project?
No. So
Okay.
remember, the 4-year project started in 2015.
Wow.
I released it in 2019.
Jeez, so I'm going to come from 2015 then.
You probably can say that, or even like 2014.
Yeah.
When I think that's when I did my first performance
Bro, over
as
10
Chris
years.
Malachi.
Over 10 years?
About 10 years, over 10 years. So it's been a journey of inching.
Amazing.
But you know what? Through the entire process, and even now, I never ever did feel like I must give up.
That's huge.
And there's times when I might have been discouraged and confused and thing, but that is why I say I really believe it's a calling, because
sir.
there's always this thing in my heart that I really believe God put it in my
Yes,
heart
sir.
to make music.
Yes, sir.
And like no matter what, I keep going.
That is it.
And
Patience and persistence.
patience and persistence.
I love that. I'm curious, where did the name Chris Malachi come from?
So of course my first name Christopher.
Okay.
But then Malachi, which contrary to popular belief is not my middle name.
It's not?
No. I was just searching for a name that could resonate.
Okay.
And I remember one day I was in church and the name Malachi just dropping on my head. By the way, I get a lot of inspiration in church.
Okay.
And Malachi, so why Malachi? And I remember going home after church and just researching about the name, and which obviously is that the book in the Bible named Malachi. And then upon research, I learned that Malachi means God's messenger,
Wow.
or one who's charged with a message. And when I understood that and saw that, it was like another one of them epiphany moments. It's like,
Let's go.
ready now.
Bro, that's wild. That is wild.
No, man, is a lot of amazing things happening on the journey, and from then now, Chris Malachi.
Amazing. Why I'm so impressed by that, Chris, is because as we went through the timeline, that's over 10 years ago, right? So you would have been in your 20s, like teenager going into 20s. And at that point, bro, most teenage guys not going to be thinking, what is the Lord saying to me, and what should my name be? It's like them going to go off of what the streets are saying, So it's just like, you could have gone with a completely different name, bro, but you chose Malachi, the messenger, which speaks to a level of consciousness from such an early age, and just intentionality, which is huge, bro. Which is huge. And as he says, it's more than what you say, it's a calling, right? So it's more than just making money. It's more than just a paycheck. It's a calling, and you've put in your work and you continue to put in your work. You're working. You see me? I love it, bro. I love it. I'm impressed. I'm thoroughly impressed. And I can't help but hear you mention, and I know a bit of your background. I know a lot of your background. And I know that church is a big part of your life.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems to play a big role in your music, right? But, looking on, people, I don't think it's blatantly obvious on the onlook, especially with your love for the Jamaican culture. In fact, when I was thinking about who is Chris Malachi, the way I define it is Chris is not just creating or rather recreating the culture, but he's helping to shape it and mold it, right? And so he's building the culture. And so, with all that, bro, I'm just curious, what is the message that you're carrying? And where do you place yourself within, like people will ask, what kind of artist is he? Is he a reggae artist? Is he a gospel artist? Where you fall? Like, how do you identify as, or what do you identify as it relates to the type of artist you are, bro? And what is the message that you're carrying?
All right. So for me, the ultimate message of Chris Malachi is purpose. I would like everybody who listen to my songs them to understand that God have a purpose for them life.
Okay.
And what is a broader purpose than we think sometimes. I don't believe purpose is just, it's not limited to any one space. It's how we live life. So whatever profession we find ourselves in, whatever space we find ourselves in, we have to give value in that way, and really be a light in the world. And I believe a message like that, if people were to really internalize it and activate it and really go by it, I really believe that we can see some great impact in Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
Because if you think about it, when you say like Jamaica is such a paradoxical place, right? We have the most churches per square mile.
Yes.
And then we'll have the most bars per square
road.
mile. And we're so loving people, but like aggressive people.
Yeah, man. Step on the clocks. It's a different youth.
And then now we're little but we're taller.
Yeah, man.
And it's that yin and yang.
Yeah,
But
contradictions.
on a deeper level though, I think what it comes down to is, I believe Jamaica is I believe that just innately we all know that we have some level of purpose.
Yes.
We all know. But it's expressed in different ways sometimes. Because I think now, is when purpose get like frustrated, that's when we get the recklessness, that's when we get the anger, that's when we get the, if you ever know some youth in a school who is like them brilliant but them rude.
Mm-hmm.
That is Jamaica. We're brilliant enough time, but we're rude because every Jamaican believes that them is a star. You know?
Yes,
but sometimes when we look around, we not see this star environment.
Yeah.
So we have all of this energy, all of this idea, all of this everything, and we don't know where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, unfortunately, it goes towards each other and against each other, and it results in a lot of dysfunction in many different ways in a society.
Yeah.
But again, with that deep belief in that we are something important that all Jamaicans have, I believe if we can just align it sometimes and affirm that positive part of it, then we can see more young people in Jamaica channeling sometimes that is negative energy to like real passion and purpose redirect it.
Yeah.
You know? So that is why I find it important for my music to resonate in different spaces in Jamaica.
Okay.
So that's why I'm singing a song called Take On Street.
Yeah.
Because it's like the message of the music needs to be everywhere.
Yeah, bro.
And because I don't know, so like you ask me like, where do I place myself categorically and stuff like that. On a broader level, I don't really think in genres and stuff.
Okay.
But I am telling stories and communicating the human condition which many times is about like whether it's my faith, society, love, just the entire human condition through reggae music.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
so that's the thing. So it's
Got
like
you.
I don't necessarily limit myself to one
Right.
thing,
Right.
but understanding what reggae music is and
Yeah,
how it
man.
is such a life-changing, transformative genre that impact the whole world.
Yeah, man.
And of course, I'm Jamaican.
That's the vehicle.
That's the vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, that's the
That's the
vehicle.
vehicle, and you have a message that you're carrying through that vehicle.
Exactly.
Understood. Understood. Amazing, bro. I love that. I love that. So my question now, this might be a little controversial. How has the church received you? Because of, because you don't look like the typical gospel artist, you understand?
Yeah, because I'm not the typical gospel artist.
Correct.
You know,
correct.
as I said, like I don't even categorize myself as a gospel artist. I don't. I might believe the gospel.
Yeah.
But a lot of the music that I do, it not go fit.
Correct.
And that's
correct.
and guess what? That's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
But how has that been received? Because you are a Christian. So how has that been received in the church or in your spaces?
So in my spaces, it's been supportive, you know.
That's great.
But it does take some time for some people to understand.
Okay.
There's like some people who just because like them see me in church and everything is like, okay, so Chris a gospel artist. And I don't tell them no. like you know, I'm not gonna say actually no, I'm not.
Yeah.
At this point, I just do the music.
Yeah.
Right? And
Make
some
it speak
people
for itself.
make it speak for itself. Some people it take a little while for understand.
Yeah.
You know, some people feel like, yo, we're not fair to do it this way.
Yeah.
But then you have just as many people who are saying, yo, I've been looking for this for my whole life.
That's
And
great.
I've never seen the message presented in this way before,
Yes, sir.
in a way that really applied to this holistic
Yes, sir.
life, in life in all aspects is what my music is about. So when I find more and more people who really resonate with that, and it's especially happening now, which, you know, I think in the last few months or so I've been gaining some more momentum. I've seen so many times of confirmation, you know. Because the thing is, you know, sometimes we feel like somebody misunderstanding something sometimes. That's not the worst thing in life, you know. That's just an opportunity for you to teach them,
Yeah.
you know. And
That's a great perspective.
yeah, and when I take it that way, then things make a lot more sense, you know. So it's definitely growing, and the more that it grows, I think more people see that it's not actually like not that far fetched.
Yeah, man.
Because the thing about the music now is like the things that we believe, whether in any profession that we do, it should influence our music, or not our music, that's the way that we live.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I'm doing that in music. I'm
Yeah.
just sing about it.
Yeah.
I'm just sing about it. But I think just because music has become so heavily categorized, especially historically, we want people to say, okay, but you have to do this, you have to do this or this.
Yeah.
But
Pick a lane.
thank God for a thing named internet, bro,
Yes,
where it's like you
sir.
can just reach the people who really need it. And
Yeah,
I think
bro. Yeah,
an artist
bro.
like me is existing in an age where I probably couldn't have 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's a blessing now.
Yeah, man, called for such a time as this.
Yeah.
I love that, bro. So okay, I'm curious. So you say, so one of your songs is Tech on Street, right?
Yeah.
I love that song. And literally I Tech on the Street, bro. And I'm curious again now, how do you tech on the street, impact the culture, but not make the street take you on, or rather be impacted negatively by the culture? Because, you know, we love the Jamaican culture, we celebrate the Jamaican culture, but there are aspects of the Jamaican culture that I don't believe, quote unquote, align with the message that you're carrying, right? Of course, you're walking with the light, right? And we're speaking symbolically, poetically. Talk to me. How do you walk that out, bro?
that is that whole conversation of purpose again.
Okay.
When I say purpose and persistence, what that means for me is that
I love that. 3 P's, bro.
it's
Patience,
purpose, and
persistence.
persistence.
Let's go.
So let me show you how they work
They
together
connect,
now.
yeah.
So I would say start with that purpose, right?
Yeah.
And that is how I try to go into spaces and impact positively as opposed to being impacted
Yes, sir.
negatively. I have to shine out because I know somebody come with something impactful for sure. The patience now is understanding that it might not work out in 4 months.
I love it.
It might work
The
out
life
in a 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, but once you have that purpose, then that wait time feels a lot more worth it. And then the persistence now is you just
You keep going.
rinse and repeat. You keep doing
Keep
it.
going,
You
bro.
keep building.
Yes,
You know, and
sir.
I think that is how I've been able to
That's amazing.
to not be impacted negatively
Mm-hmm.
because I really believe in what I'm here to do. And sometimes if things might get frustrating or, because here's the truth. An artist with the skill set as mine, if me get up tomorrow and say, yo, I'm gonna sing some chopper song,
Yeah, man.
with the melody and everything that
Yeah,
I bring,
man.
me probably
Gonna
bust a
roll.
long time.
Yeah, man.
I could have sing some bad man tune and
Yeah,
some slap
man.
tune and
Yeah,
thing.
man.
But I don't believe that is my purpose.
Yes, sir.
Some leave that to some other artists.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And understanding that I have to now find ways to connect with people.
Yes, sir.
So if Minago can connect with the low hanging fruit, what that does now, the thing with Jamaican culture and any other culture, it's so broad.
Yeah.
And
It's diverse.
we have negative things there, but we also have a lot of beautiful things there.
Absolutely.
And my thing now is when me focus for how me gonna bring this song to these Jamaican people is to affirm the beautiful things about us.
Right, true.
Because it's so much.
Yeah.
And to find those things in our human experience that we can all relate to.
Yes,
I
sir.
so me and you grow up similar, but then you have somebody down the road who never see them yet come from a totally different place, but there are things that we can relate to.
Yes, sir.
Just because we're all human. And I've been finding that as my music is growing, it's resonating in that way because I don't find that there's any one type of person who resonates with a Chris Malachi song. Sometimes I'm actually surprised at the type of people it reach, but it's a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I believe that when you really tap into something that's really about the human condition,
Yeah.
then it can go so far. So it's like I come with something to bring to people. So it's like whatever other influence or
Yeah, man.
and
You're the messenger.
me are the messenger.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's like we don't worry about it too
That's
tough.
amazing,
It's like
bro.
me I build.
Focus.
I'm building. Yeah.
Patience.
Cancel out the competition.
That is it, bro. That is it. That is it. That is it. Patience, persistence, purpose.
Yeah.
I love it, bro. I love it. I think that's the title for this podcast. I absolutely love it, bro. Absolutely love it. We're wrapping up. I'm curious. What's been the hardest thing or the most challenging thing in the music industry in Jamaica for you, from your perspective?
I would say, honestly, a lack of resources.
Okay.
And I think
That's real.
Yeah, I think that's a story of a lot of Jamaican artists.
That's
'Cause
Jamaica.
one thing we know shatter is talent.
That's Jamaica, bro.
That's Jamaica.
Football,
This is
track and field.
everything.
Food. Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Music.
So lack of resources,
Yeah.
I would say, is probably the biggest challenge because
Jeez.
so I've gotten to the point in my music journey where I know so many musicians and producers. I feel like we can make any type of song that we need to.
When you
know?
say resources, what are you talking about? Like, what are some, for those who don't fully understand the industry or the space?
So like even like monetary challenges.
Okay.
It's like I'm an independent artist. Things like, for instance, like a live show is one of the most important things an artist can do because it
Yeah.
can really build community.
Yes.
It's really expensive to put on a live show, and
Keeping it real.
it's really hard. You know, I've done a few on my own, you know, but I would have loved to. I want to do so much more, you know, but sometimes it hard to it's hard
hard.
to get there. You know, sometimes to like in like an ideal world, you have some artists who probably have like investors somewhere or stuff like that. But that's not the case for most artists in Jamaica, you know. So we have to find some unique ways for stand out, which it's a challenge, yes, but if you really look at it, it's also a gift. I don't know if you ever realize like some artists who are like extremely distinct in the way that they present themselves.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes that become a thing because they realize that they're in the sea of a million
Everybody
artists.
talented.
Exactly. But that lack of resources, you have to find something so potent and unique to stand out.
Innovation,
And
bro.
that's everybody's stories. And
Yeah.
what that cause now, everybody in a Jamaica unique and distinct. You know, in all our areas, not just music.
yeah.
You know, so the challenges bring gifts as well. But I would say that's
Jeez.
definitely the
Yeah.
biggest one. And
Yeah.
also, I think Jamaican industry kind of suffer from a lack of structure. You know, we have a lot of talent, but Jamaica short managers, people who really understand the business aspect, to how to really strategize for them artists, how to really advocate for them artists on a wider business sense. And I suffer from that sometimes because even up until this point, I don't have a manager. You know, so
Yet.
I don't. That's why I say up
Yeah, I
until
know,
this
I
point.
know, I know.
I don't have a manager yet, you know, but I definitely see where it's like, oh, Jono,
Yeah.
me can't get to everything. I'm only me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's real.
but again, that's a story of the Jamaican, you know, and another part of me as an artist, some way, somehow, in my journey in this, I really want to make an impact in that way in terms of figuring out the resources part of it, figuring out the business part of it in a way that is bigger than just me.
Yeah.
Because
Impact again.
like that's one of my mission them in a Jamaican music. I don't always say how, but if there's so much things I would like to do and can't do it, but no, say enough more people
Oh,
want
for
the things
sure,
and
bro.
can't do it yet.
That story
You
is
know?
echoed, I'm sure.
Yeah. So what we know what the challenge is.
Yeah.
Just go through same way.
Patience, persistence,
Exactly.
purpose. I love it, bro. All right. And now, as we wrap up, you know, just for those on the other side of the screen, whether they're listening, whether they're watching, you know, any advice for the up and coming artist, the young Chris who's in high school, has this passion and desire to sing or play an instrument and, you know, nervous, like, you know, shy, wants to pursue it. But, you know, the age-old story in Jamaica is there are only three professions: doctor, lawyer, Indian chief. You know, doctor, lawyer, engineer, really and truly. But talk to me, bro. What are you saying to the young Chris Malachis out there, the boys and girls, even just the artists grinding just like yourself, putting in the work and probably feeling frustrated at this point, not seeing the fruits of their labor? Any encouragement for them?
You know, so I rock back on the 3P them again.
Very true.
In the sense that, again, you're doing something out of this great passion and purpose that you have.
Yes, sir.
Understand that what you're doing is a career that is like 1 in a million people make it.
Yeah.
So you have to really have that deep passion to understand that it got to take a level of patience and resourcefulness and so many things.
That's so
and
legit.
Don't even complain about it too tough, like, because you have to be solution oriented in this business.
Yes, sir.
Like, you have to find a way.
Yep.
You know, and but once you really believe that there's a way to be found,
Yes. You will find it.
you will find it.
Yeah.
So just keep going. If people might not understand it initially, persistence you keep going, you build, you correct a little bit each time, you get a little bit better each time.
Yes, sir.
And just and another thing, there you can do so much. Sometimes we come into this music believing that we need to have everything in place, which there's a lack of resources, but you get things in place as you go.
Yeah.
So don't feel like say you have to understand and know everything before you start.
Yes, sir.
Look around you. There's people who need things that you can help them with, that you can help to bring them closer to their goals. You have a virgin over there so who will start producing. You want to work with the biggest producer. Start with your bridging
Yes.
and work. You have a bridging over there, so
man.
want one little party, link up with him and keep
Yeah,
one
man.
show. Like
Yeah, man.
it's stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah.
look across and build up.
Tap into your community.
Yeah, and you can do so much.
Yeah, bro.
Just
Collaboration.
Yeah.
I love that. I think one big takeaway from this conversation, which has just been amazing, bro, absolutely amazing, is the importance of community, right? I think back at the beginning of the conversation where you spoke about Quilt. Is it Quilt? That's the name of the group. And just what that did for you, bro. Just having people speak life into your dream and facilitate and encourage and affirm what you wanted. And I think that's so important for anybody coming up to get themselves surrounded by the right set of people, because your community can truly make or break you, So that's huge, bro. Environment is so important.
Yeah, and as it's a community, I've always been a part of a community because, like, for instance, just my family is humongous.
Yep.
So growing up in church and a huge, close-knit family, I've always been growing in community and believe in the importance of community. So now that me as an artist, it's like my mission now is to build communities because we know what community do for people.
Oh, it's powerful, bro. Yeah. Powerful. Better together.
Better together and stronger.
That is it, bro. That is it. Well, yo, Chris, absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Couldn't have asked for a better episode to kick off season 2 of the Sky Lounge Pod. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you for joining us. You are
the one,
the only Chris Malachi, the messenger, came with a message today on the pod, and I'm so grateful, bro. Big up yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro. I'm proud of you, bro.
Thank you, bro. Mama, we made it. Chris Malachi, proud of me. Oh my God. Well, we out, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, don't forget to like the page, share this link with a friend, share this pod with a friend. Someone could benefit from an episode, a conversation like this. And until we see you again, we can't wait to see you in the next one. Big up. Peace.
Yo, unpopular opinion. I feel like party should be Jamaican national dish. Yeah, like it work.